Hello, I hope you're all doing well. This is Bunto Skiffler bringing you the second installment of my diet array program for 2016. Well, I figure I'll just go ahead and, before I show you the damage, what happened, I'll just lay down the two things that cross my mind about the whole thing. Well, there is only two things in my mind as far as like weight loss. It's intake and activity. So let's go ahead and, if you allow me, please, to discuss the intake part before the activity. Activity, I can really go into depth in. The intake, as I said in my earlier show, I really didn't change anything. I told you I was only really eating 1.5 times a day and just grazing the rest, taking a lot of supplements. But I was going to, try this first diet as intermittent veganism, which I was really going to, dive into veganism. But what happened is that, I really, veganism is like you really have to dive into veganism. You just can't have like some sort of preference for vegetables. You have to actually change your diet towards all vegetables. So I believe in the second one, now I'm going to have my next week off from dieting. But the second diet, I do believe I'm going to really try raw veganism for 10 weeks. I've already set my mind on that, so I'm going to do it. Um, that's pretty much just what happened on the diet end. What happened on the activity end was a real strange phenomenon that I'll discuss with you further. But let me go ahead and not strange phenomenon, well, a new phenomenon for me because I've really never really investigated fitness so much ever in my life. But here, let me show you the damage of what happened. Thanks for watching the show. Hold on. Okay, as you can see here, the projected, starting off at 195 and then working all myself down to 185. I started at 193 pounds. And then, the next week shot up 195, 192, 193. So that first month, January, was, nothing happened, right? I attributed that to, water weight, just coming off the holidays, right? But then look what happened in February was when, shit really started hitting the fan. Okay, 196 started off, and it just plateaued there. And then you can see like on the 15th, mid-month, 197, and then I really hit the panic button there. What happened was that, in all these first months, I was just doing my regular workout that I described in that first show, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, full body. And then, either Tuesday, Thursday, do upper half, and then on Sunday, just do bottom, right? But what happened with those workouts, and I found it surprising, and for 2016, is that I wasn't finishing those workouts. I mean, I was getting tired and going home. And the reason I attribute that to is that not necessarily I got weakness because I was doing stronger stuff during the workouts. You understand the thing is that the quality went up. That I was doing more intensive work during these workouts. So then around the 15th, 215, when I was at 197, I was like full 10 pounds over projected. I just hit the panic button, said I was just going to do nothing but cardio. So you can see in those last 2-3 weeks, I was just doing nothing but cardio, and I weaned myself back down to 194. So for the whole diet, I gained a pound. Okay, so what I was going to explain to you, what I discovered in the activity portion was that first I wasn't finishing these workouts, and also I was doing stronger stuff, tougher stuff at the gym, and I was having visually, what does that mean? Visually, that means is like I was just really starting to get ripped out and veiny, and then I was just like taking time to look in the mirror, and I was just thinking to myself, this is exactly not the direction that I wanted to go in. It's not that I didn't want to be fit, mind you, but I wanted to be softer and more feminine looking, and my resistance workout was, just totally masculinizing my body. It's like, I know you guys are saying, well, no shit, stupid. But I mean, I thought I could emulate the fitness girls workout, I was just doing a lot of volume. I mean, I really wasn't like doing one max rep stuff. I'll be totally honest with you. I did, a bodybuilder was nice enough to work with me at the gym and really show me how to do drop sets on the bench press on the incline. But I would just do that like once a week. I mean, I really wasn't hitting it. I really wasn't blasting my chest or anything like that. I was just doing lots of volume, right? But sure enough, man, I started getting lean and ripped, right? So, the eating was pretty much the same. Just shows you, it's the quality of your workout that can really, change your body, not so much the diet. Okay. So what did I do? I decided that, just me, I just talk to people all the time. Those people see me all the time at the gym. So, I started talking to this girl and really making a friendship, and we're pretty close now. And her name's Becca, okay? And she's a fitness girl, right? So she's a girl, and she has like, the body. She's a very close approximation to, my size, except she's a female, she's like 130, but I mean, she's tall, thin, and she really looks, just if I was a woman, I just love to have her body, right? I mean, she looks good. And then, so we talked, we're all about fitness, right? So we're talking, and she's telling me, she's looking at my workout a lot, right? She says it's just the quality that I have to stress quality over quantity. Okay. And she's into HIIT, high intensity interval training. So, that's something, what I do is like, I warm up on a bike, but I don't hit it. I don't do the interval training on it. I set the resistance as, pretty high on these things, but I just don't do interval training on the cardio stuff. Right. And then also she impressed on me to keep my heart rate up all the time. Right. If I'm really into losing weight, cause I told her, I want to lose weight. And, the thing is that just to tell you guys, just to be honest, when you tell a woman that you want to be, thinner and stuff, it's sort of like, it goes counter to what her intuition was. She wants a real fuller man, right? She doesn't want like, they were always telling me, I told this to several of the women, right? And they're like, well, no, Bunto, you're going to be a stick. You're going to look sickly. You've got to just keep doing what you're doing. You're looking good. You know what I mean? They want me to go in the direction that I was going in. But I still have in my mind that, I want to get like, a little bit more softer appearance, right? So, okay, let me go back to what Becca was saying. She was saying interval training. Okay, she is very close to a vegan, right? So she gave me all these ideas of non-GMO and a lot of dishes to eat, and her, a woman like her idea is that, you go into the gym, you get your workout, quality workout done, like 45 minutes and get out. Me, I like going to the gym and just, grinding away for hours, right? Because a lot of, it's not like I sit, I talk to a lot of people, I do talk to people, but, I mix that in with circuit training. So it's not like I'm just sitting around talking to people, but I like the social aspect of the gym. Then I talk to a lot of people there. Well, okay, who's the other girls that I talk to? The trainers, they're saying, if you talk to a trainer at a gym, they're in the school of bulking, that you have to bulk yourself up, right? So, they just told me to adjust my macros and then maybe I can get what I want. But, they would rather have, instead of me being so lean, they would rather have me, put more muscle mass on. They say, well, the solution to your problem, Bunto, is if you put muscle mass on, then you'll start, losing weight, that way. Of course, snicker, they just want me to lose fat, right? Which I'm doing, but I really want to just lose some weight. I just want to be less imposing. Then I talked to a girl who is a bodybuilder, and she was just flat out, no, you're not going to do that because you're going to go get sickly. So, the idea of like, okay, I'm just trying to be honest with you guys. Okay, like, a she-male trans woman can take the hormones, right? She can dress the way, cross-dresser can dress like a woman, right? But if you want to just try to approach being a woman physically, I mean, I've yet to discover that, how to just like go towards a little bit softer just physically. I mean, okay, I'll just give you an example, okay? Like I was talking to a girl today, and she was complaining to me how, like, that she has to carry around these double D breasts, and everything she eats goes through her butt or her breast, right? And she's just, it's just a hassle for her, right? I mean, okay, so that's a woman. She can like eat fat and store it. Okay, that way, like in her butt or in her chest. I mean, it goes to a place where it's makes her look feminine, right? And a dude, man, a dude when he works out, I mean, it's gonna have the opposite effect, man. It's like you just look more masculine. I mean, if you're working out, I mean, I think of course, you guys seen these bodybuilders that, well, excuse me, not bodybuilders, but weightlifters. They're just eating all the time, so they're not very defined, but you can tell that they're men. I mean, they're just big guys, right? Um, a bodybuilder will look more for definition, correct? I mean, they're looking more for, they do the bulk and then the cut. They're looking at the cut. So they're aiming right at body parts, okay? I don't do that. I'm more into keeping the heart rate up and, keeping tone. I'm definitely toning, right? Retaining muscle mass, if not growing some, right? And, the third thing is like, as far as digging out fat, I thought about this early this morning. I woke up early and just, today is my Monday weigh-in. So did the weigh-in and realized, hey, you got to face the music. The diet failed, right? So today it's funny. I had 3 square meals, today. But I was thinking about is like, these guys are aiming right at muscle parts. They have that discipline, right? And I'm just looking, at the whole body, just trying to like dig the fat out. What I'm trying to say is what I'm going to change the activity for the second diet. If I'm going to go raw vegan, you look at people like Durian Rider and Freely the Banana Girl on YouTube. These guys are high activity. I mean, they're always riding their bikes everywhere, right? So, I mean, they just have metabolism going all the time. So the weather's getting nicer here. I'm going to do a lot more running. And I'm just, I've changed my workout, right? Those guys used to see me there in the morning. Well, I've changed it to like evening where I'm just doing cardio, right? Because that whole gym is packed, in the evening. So it's like, it's okay. In the daytime, when I go to that gym, I can just bounce around from, place to place, equipment, but when you're in a packed gym in the evening, you only can stay on like one place, right? So that's just more, what would you call, discipline for me to work on a regimen that's aims at a body part. What I'm trying to say is like the full body workout just makes you ripped and lean. Aim at a body part. You can like I aim at my bottom chain. I did. We have like one of those, what are they called? Single man pulley machines. Not like the whole universal set, but it's just like a single person pulley machine. And I just worked that yesterday, and I decided to take the day off today because I'm seriously got some delayed onset soreness today because I worked the pulley machine, just one machine, really socked it to me instead of just bouncing all over the place in a circuit workout. Okay, so let me quit screen sharing and try to put a cap on this presentation. Okay, let's talk about the future, right? We just talked about the past. Let's talk about the future. Okay. When you're going to do your diet, it can't be like, this is just as far as the intake stuff, right? If you really want to have some success in it, you just really nails yourself for what you want to do. Like I have the discipline, obviously, to do the activity, right? To do the workout. Now that's the diet that I think, I should be more fidelity towards, more, more honest about. So I will try the 10 weeks of veganism, and this, I could say just, if anybody asks me during my life, I tried it, maybe I love it, you never know what's going to happen, but definitely going to step away from meat eating in the hopes of, I just, I showed you that first diet already, I gained a pound in 10 weeks. What I want to do is I want to see if I can list, try to lose 5 to 6 pounds. I was way up at the beginning of this year that I was going to throw out 10 pounds in the first 10 weeks. Look what happened. Nothing. So, I'm going to try to, be honest and faithful to a vegan diet in that first 10 weeks. I got a whole week off now, probably 2 weeks, right? I think, this week was going to be the 9th week. So have the rest of this week, have next week, and then bam, hit it. Veganism. All right. Try to eat as raw as possible, you know. Um, as far as the activity, you know, where can you go wrong there? I mean, as long as you're being active, it's not like I'm going to reduce it. Just probably be more singular minded on body parts than you know, hitting the whole thing at once. There, I have to tell, you know, everybody there, it's like I've always been a full body, high volume dude, so it's going to be a change in my mindset. Now, I don't know if you guys ever watch my feed, but I put up the Jerry Ward video where he's talking about, you know, high resistance versus volume. And he says that, you know, what it is, it's a really interesting thing if you ever watch it, that video that I put on that he just did this week. But he says it's not, you know, physical that you're looking at. It's what you're looking at as your central nervous system. Your central nervous system, when you go from high volume to, like, you know, quality workouts where you're aiming at things, is going to say, hey, Bunto, you're not, you know, breaking your ass. I mean, come on, man, let's do something exciting. Let's do something else. You know, it's like a boring thing that you get bored with it. Well, you got to have discipline that you can derive quality from, you know, a single body part. You're aiming at one body part workout. And, you know, to tell you the truth, you know, during that 10-week diet I just did, you know, I was doing even 2-a-days because I was like really angry at myself that I wasn't finishing the workout, you know. I was just like, you know, I could do this thing in 2015. Why can't I do it in 2016? Well, the thing is, like, you know, just to tell you guys, you know, I'm not bragging, but I was just doing full levers on you know, the pull-up bars, you know, in front of everybody over and over and over again. People were like, you know, wow, man, you know, good, somebody's doing body weight here. I could not do that in 2015. So it just shows you that, you know, the quality of workout will increase if you just keep faithful to it. Let me see. Well, I'm probably left out a bunch of ancillary stuff, but let me go ahead and take a pause right here and open up the room to anybody who wants to come in. Thank you for watching so far. I'm going to put the thing in the public and do some invites. So hold on a sec. Hello. Welcome. Tommy Hall. Let me see. Hey, Tommy, how you doing? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Oh, let me see. Got my headphones working. Oh, lyrics? I'm sure.
Hello.
Okay, I can hear lyrics. I can't hear you, Tommy. Maybe you have to check out and check back in. How's it going, lyrics?
I'm all right. Just got out of work a little while ago, chilling.
Dude, Monday.
How about now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Welcome
How
to
are
the
you?
show, guys. My friend Tommy Hall Lyrics. I was telling about how my first diet failed badly.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the group. You're part of a large group, so welcome.
And I don't think it was so much that it was the activity portion. I think the diet. I'm going to try veganism for the first time in my life, just see if I can
Well, I listened to
eat
your
vegetables.
your story, and I don't want to pass myself as any sort of expert by any stretch of the imagination. It's just my own personal experience, I suppose. And sorry, hang on.
Must be an intruder. How about you, Lyrics? Are you starting a diet for 2016, or you're just not that crazy?
I try not to eat sugar, and I eat everything.
Right, but sugar. I ate sugar today. Shit, I caved in.
I had soda.
You ever had a soda? I just freaking eat that oatmeal. You know how oatmeal has instant oatmeal has such much sugar in it. I just love the taste. So, but it's sort of like, are you going to be a food Nazi or are you going to be yourself? That's the difference.
See, I'm myself, dude. I've molded my diet so that when I'm myself, it's not anything crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I might have ice cream. I'm not even lying, dude. Probably like once a month.
Right. I haven't had ice cream in a shit long time because I don't drink, so that's gone.
Yeah, I don't either, dude. And I don't eat fast food.
I eat fast food, so that fucked me up.
That's probably what it is, dude.
The thing is, like, all right, I had biscuits and gravy because I actually was
How
nice.
often do you eat fast food?
Maybe once a week. But I guess I can go with that. That's gonna go because I'm gonna be eating veganism.
Dude. You may not think that's a lot, but that actually is.
Okay, Tommy, how about you? You eat fast food every other day or what?
Oh no. Well, you know what? I do. Like today, I ate Panera Bread. I don't know if you have Panera Bread down there, but I had their salad, which I mean, it's got ranch, dressing. So that's not the greatest food in the world, but I try to eat as much as that.
Salad is good.
Yeah, salad, and it had a little chicken on it. But what I was going to say a second ago was something you might consider is, and the more I get into this, and the more I read, the more I think I'm onto something. Not me, it's from other people, others' ideas. But the whole chemical thing, I think, is important. Because when you consume something that's loaded or laden with chemicals,
right,
your body has to do something with those. I mean, you obviously have a liver and a kidney and stuff in blood, all that stuff, and stuff. That stuff exits your skin and your bowels and your all that stuff. But the thing is, when we get overloaded with chemicals, your body, if it can't get rid of all of it, has to store it or has to do something with it.
Work with it, right?
Yeah. So I think that's what fat is for, at least in large part. And so, people who eat a lot of junk food and a lot of fast food, a lot of greasy stuff and stuff that's just bad for you, it's bad for you, but I think the real enemy here is the chemicals, the toxins, the pesticides, the Roundup. Right. And so your body stores that stuff in fat. It creates fat, in your stomach, in your if you're a woman, maybe your butt or your breasts, like you were talking about, wherever, according to what you are. So I think with an organic, or at least trying to eat organic when you can, obviously you can't escape it all completely, but I think an organic approach will help reduce some of that anyway. And so that's what I, here in the last year or so, have really been focused on is when I do a lot of juicing, so I buy all organic vegetables and fruits when I juice, because that's really intense and a lot of stuff going through my system. But even with salads, I would suggest, along with what you're doing, you were talking about eating a lot of whole foods, which is, I think it's the great best yeah, raw whole food. I think the organic thing would be a good place to go, and I'm sure I'm not teaching you anything, but when you really put that together, that there's something about the obesity and the chemicals, and I think if you start maybe looking at different places, you'll see that connection. I think there's I think there's a vitamin D connection too, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so when you go to the store, you're looking for the non-GMO sticker, or are you just buying cheap
No,
stuff?
I mean GMO. There hasn't been actually that much science on it to say yay or nay. GMO is terrible for you, or yeah, it's okay. I sort of just instinctively err on the side of caution and
Right.
think, okay, if nature didn't do it, then I'm kind of skeptical. But I'm more into organic,
Okay.
not sprayed with Roundup, not sprayed with pesticides, no antibiotics,
Dude,
that stuff.
we've made many crops completely different in the past couple hundred years.
Like a
Regard like
banana.
Hmm.
Banana's not a banana.
corn, dude. Corn's a big one.
Right.
Corn is in everything. It's ubiquitous.
It
Okay.
used to be maize, dude, which was a completely different plant. And
Right.
we changed it without the use of GMOs, just regularly picking whatever ones we wanted and planting those. We've been changing our food intake for millennia, dude. This isn't new.
Well,
Yes, but okay, go ahead, Tom.
I was just going to say, I think with the banana and with the corn, at least with the corn, they've actually, well, I think the Indians started doing it, but it's been altered genetically. It's not a
Yes.
matter, yeah. So it's actually changed the actual structure of the, on the DNA level. So it's a little bit different than its wild type.
a sign for evolution, Tommy.
Wow.
No, I was thinking about that too, Tommy. Tommy, but the thing is that there was a greater variety of foods in the earlier age than now, because now we just have corn, wheat, gluten. We only have like 5 things that they make the American meal out of. While in the past, they had all sorts of nuts and.
If I go downtown, man, I can have hundreds of different kinds of foods, man.
Yeah, but I know, but lyrics. It's not so much types of foods, but there's the food consists of. In the modern American diet, there's only like 5 foods. Corn, right? Corn syrup, gluten, wheat, a dairy. But in the past, they had all sorts of options. They could fish. Do you eat a lot of fish? I don't eat that much fish.
I do.
Like really? Like every week you eat a lot of fish? I eat tuna fish.
Dude, I eat red meat or chicken every day.
Yes.
I eat vegetables every day, and I eat starches, and I
That's good.
maintain an equal amount of all of it, and I never have a problem with my weight, dude. And I'm active,
Okay, well,
being active is the biggest thing.
yes, being active is the biggest thing. I agree, but I was thinking like, just to call a spade. Like you told me, how many times you eat. I eat like once a month. I mean, once a week. Fast food. How about you, Tommy? Do you eat like 2 or 3 times? Taco Bell and shit, or what?
You know what? I never go out and get fast food on my own. My problem is my kids and my
And the
wife.
workers, right? Or you gotta beat the workers.
I blame it on my kids, but my kids they order pizza once a week, and or thereabouts.
Right.
So that I indulge. There's other things my wife will make that, cookies.
Okay, Tommy. So like, if you went hard vegan right now, would it shock the shit out of your family?
No,
Probably
because I'm not really that big of a meat eater. I mean, I ate chicken today, but I don't crave.
But I mean, would you be
really? I mean, crave meat.
How often do you eat red meat?
Maybe twice a month, maybe.
But would that be like shunning you from your family? I mean, if you just said, well,
no, they're not big eaters either. Meat eaters either. So,
oh, really? So they would
no.
forgo the pizza and.
Well, see, when they get pizza, it's cheese. So that's just the way they are.
Well, I've given up. Well, I eat cheese, but I need to give up dairy too, right? If I go raw vegan.
Yeah. So.
There goes dairy. There goes milk and eggs.
Yeah. See, I don't think dairy's good for you. Good for me. I eat it anyway or drink it, like in my coffee. But it's one of those things that I don't think we were meant to consume cow's milk. But it's just me.
I think you're right.
You know what I mean? But I think milk has gotten one of those free rides in society that a lot of people have pushed it as being a health food.
Yeah.
I don't think it's actually earned that respect,
It's more like a marketing ploy that they use in the dairy industry.
Yeah. I think it's forming.
Milk's good, and it's a good source of calories, right? If you don't want to
breast milk.
Water, dude, having a couple glasses of milk.
Would you buy breast milk from the store?
I actually might. If I was sick, if I had some sort of disease, I might try that.
Put a little dab in your coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so but how's your activity, Tommy? Is it just you're still active?
You know, I was listening to you, and it's just I would never say that one person's right or wrong. Just my particular viewpoint is really kind of polar opposite from yours because for me and my body, I'm more interested in the cardio and the diet as opposed to the workouts, the weights,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. I'm trying to get I'm trying to lose weight, but in specific areas such as my stomach, which isn't that big. I mean, it's just it's a little bit of a pooch.
Puffy.
Yeah, it's puffy, and it's like when I see myself in the
It's old age,
in the
Tommy.
mirror, and it's like, okay, I look pretty darn good, except for that little spot, over my jeans. It's not really over my jeans, whatever. It's just
You got a muffin top.
it's too much of a poo for me because I
Say
think
a
it.
muffin top.
That's the
Yeah,
color
I don't
muffin
know.
top.
I don't know what you call it, but so I'm trying to lose that. It's probably 5 pounds. I don't need to lose much, but it's all in my stomach. So that's always a challenge. But I go at it with running and with trying to eat organic raw, kind of like what you're talking about. And look at my arms; they're like pathetic. So obviously I don't go that route. But I wish I'm not knocking you for it. I'm just saying for me, it's just not something I do.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think it would be a good thing to do. It's just not what I do.
When you want to tone up, how are you going to do it? You're going to get a yoga strap and just yank away on it? Going to get some barbells? When you want to tone up, what are you going to do?
No, I don't. I obviously don't. Toning to me means getting out and run. Well, my wife and I will go jog 4 miles, and we do that probably
That sounds good.
Yeah, 5 nights a week, probably 4 or 5 anyway.
That is excellent.
And the other tool in my tool chest, tool belt, whatever you call it, is, and I was going to suggest it to you too. I think we've talked about it before, but just being okay with being hungry. So it's okay. It's okay if you have a little bit of hunger. When babies get hungry, as little kids, they cry. It's like, okay,
Right.
at some point you got to grow up and be okay with that feeling that, okay, I'm hungry. Well, so what? Move on and
That's
distract yourself.
interesting.
Yeah, it's okay to be hungry and just put it off for, just practice some discipline. And
Okay.
the funny thing is when you start learning how to live with hunger, when you're hungry, that's when your body starts burning itself or consuming itself, all the
Fast.
extras. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Like
when your
it's-
stomach is full, like if you're eating a bunch of salad, even if it's good for you, your body's still actively working on trying to rid all that stuff out. So I don't think you can actually lose weight when you're full all the time. Anyway, so that was my.
So that's a good. Okay, I tell you what, the girl at the gym, Becca, told me. She says, okay, she asked me like, when I eat a plate of food, tell me what it is, and I eat like a whole big plate of food. She says, well, you're eating to stuff yourself, Bunto. You should just eat to be satiated, and then stop at that point.
That's a good point.
Because I had this habit, I guess you get from your mother, to clean everything off your plate.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to go.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, that's the thing. Yeah, it's very tempting to stuff yourself, and see, I disagree with the experts. The experts will say, when you see these official diets, they'll say, oh, you can have as many apples or as many carrots as you want. Well, that's not true because I'm very in touch with my body and how I feel stomach-wise and weight-wise after I eat. And I could eat a perfectly whole raw diet, and if I get really stuffed, I'm not as bloated as if I had a pizza, but there's still something there that's not right, that doesn't feel right, and that it takes a while to burn off, and I think it actually gets in the way of losing weight or losing your gut. So I think the key is what you just said, not gorging yourself and being okay with being
Satiated.
being in touch with just it's okay to be hungry, a little bit.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
So how you doing, Lindsay? Hope you're doing well.
I'm so fucking frustrated at the hospital. It's ridiculous.
Oh, honey, but it's still good seeing you.
Yeah, I'm home for a little bit, going back at 9, so you have me for an hour.
Okay, so you go home every day or every other day?
Oh, no, I'm getting stared at.
It's okay.
Uh-oh.
Can I use the washer, or are you still doing laundry?
I think there's laundry in there.
Anyways.
Sorry.
But they're taking good care of you at the hospital, right, Lindsay? Not so good.
They're paying good money for that, I bet, though.
Oh, it's Canadian. Don't they get it all free?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Tommy, you're excited about Cruise and Super Tuesday and all that?
You know what? I like Cruz politically, but I don't think he's a good candidate at all. And so I would
Wow.
probably vote against him.
Oh, so you are going to vote in the primary. You're just going to wait.
Oh yeah, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow, right? Yeah.
That's tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's trash day. Tomorrow's the primary.
I've been going back and forth. I think I am going to vote Trump. kind of holding my nose.
So you're actually going to partake in democracy tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he's the only one who could even, in his wildest dreams, beat Hillary. I don't think the other two can beat Hillary. So that's my logic.
So many people hate Hillary.
Well, yeah.
Okay, let's dip it back to Fiend because now we can see lyrics. Okay, lyrics. You stuff your face every time you eat, or do you just eat till you get satiated?
I eat by calories. So
Oh.
my body tells me what I need to eat, right?
But I mean, do you stuff your?
Oh yeah, dude. Like in the morning, usually every day, I'll eat seriously 3,000 calories, and then for
3,000
dinner, I'll
calories.
probably bang out maybe another 1,000.
It's like freaking Hulk Hogan, man. I eat 3,000
But I burn
calories
all it off,
in 3
dude.
days. It's amazing.
I walk 4 miles a day, 6 days a week, minus working a full workload, 40 hours. And
But
then
you
I do push-ups and sit-ups probably a couple times a week now because I don't do it as much as I did before. But I don't work out to be huge. I just work out to be toned,
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, so you go to the bathroom 4 or 5 times a day, or what?
4? No, I usually go twice. Right?
Okay, there you go, Tommy. I mean, if you're eating that much food, you got to be going to the bathroom 4 or 5 times a day, right?
I don't eat that much food. I mean, in fact, I eat. I think I like to tell my normal routine is to hold off on breakfast. Usually, I just have coffee for breakfast. I'm not a big breakfast eater anymore. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
And then I'll have a 2 o'clock lunch, and then that's my big meal of the day. I'll have a kind of a after evening sort of light thing, and then that's
a
it.
0.5 meal.
Yeah,
right?
and
Half a meal.
a juice in the evening, and that's it. So I might go to the bathroom once or twice.
What about before you go to bed?
Eat.
Yeah.
I usually do my juice in the evening. So it's like a carrot apple juice.
How many calories is that, dude? Do you think?
The juice?
Not that much. It's
No.
good calories.
Yeah, no, I
It
don't worry
doesn't
about
matter.
calories.
It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Your
Yeah,
body's effective. So,
I don't count calories.
I do believe in good calories and bad calories. How about you, Jeff? You have any thoughts on that?
Not really. No, I don't.
Good calories are like a shot of Jim Beam. Bad calories are like milk, right?
Yeah. Drink like a 12-pack of beer and then eat
Yeah,
3
yeah,
courses.
exactly.
So what you been up to, Jeff? Have you been dieting for 2016 or not?
Yeah, I've been watching what I eat. I kind of do this mini fasting thing where
Mini fast.
I just kind of skip breakfast and only eat within a 8-hour period. I've lost over a year's time. I've lost about 20 pounds. So
That's good. They call that intermittent fasting in the
Mhm.
biz.
Yeah.
So you're doing a lot of intermittent fasting and it's working for you.
it does work for me. Yeah.
Okay.
I love that. I love that. I think that's an underutilized tool that a lot of people could, because it's hard to say, okay, I'm going to fast now for several days, but you could skip a meal, or you could get real serious one day a week, or
Well,
some
and it's-
combination,
It's kind of counterintuitive, but you're not as hungry. At least I find I actually have more energy and less appetite than I used to. So it works well for me. I don't know that it's for everybody, but I've had definite results from it, and it's not a huge lifestyle change. I found that I really am not a breakfast person. I don't like to eat first thing in the morning
Right.
anyway, and it was just a habit, and I cut it out. And
Okay,
worked out
Jeff.
pretty well.
What about fast food? I mean, you're still eating a lot of fast food? Or?
No, not a lot. I never really ate that much. I did have some tonight, actually, as I was. Now that you mention it, but I don't
Taco
usually.
Bell.
No, I had Burger King.
Burger King's good
'cause-
this year.
Yeah, I didn't have much time to eat, so I just But I don't eat a lot of fast food. I don't really like it that much. It's enjoyable
Okay.
every now and then.
Well, but do you count restaurant food as fast food? Like if you're going to go to
Well,
Cheesecake Factory, for example, you're calling that? I mean,
that's a very good
I would
point.
not call that fast food. No.
Well,
But
okay, the thing
But
about
I
fast
think
food.
restaurant food is kind of something you have to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it
we're
gets
talking
worse.
chemicals, right, Tommy?
No,
I mean, what's in a Big Mac?
You can go
Oh,
to a
yeah.
restaurant and eat healthy, right? It's how it's cooked. If it's fried, it's probably bad for you.
Right. Trans oils, trans fats.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if it's like if you go to a restaurant or if you make it yourself. Most restaurants use oil and grease, piles of stuff, all these preservatives and additives. You know.
Mm.
Right. What Tommy is saying, fast food equals additives and chemicals, and that's the real fat accumulator.
Exactly. It makes you feel bad, dude. Right? It makes your body feel.
Right.
Supersize me, right?
Well,
you guys saw that movie.
I consider fast food like when you go to the one speaker and you order it and you drive to the window in 2 seconds and it's done.
Well, yeah, that's what they would have you believe, Jeff. But fast food really is chemicals. That's
I
really.
got a question for you, Bunto.
Go ahead.
When you eat something bad, do you have a feeling of guilt?
No, not
You know,
really. I just
like
know I could.
if you were to go eat a pizza, like several pieces of pizza or something really bad, would you have guilt?
No, because I know I can kill it at the gym the next day. So.
Oh, okay. See, I have guilt. That's one of my problems. I'll have guilt, and so I've learned to. For me, it's like it's not worth.
I should
the
have been
guilt.
a priest, right?
It's not worth the guilt. It's like because I feel bad, and like what Lyric was saying, it's like you feel bad mentally, emotionally. You feel like you've sort of
Really?
let yourself down. I've kind of come to that. Yeah.
Well,
I'm just curious if that was a common.
Dude, when I eat McDonald's, man, my body has like a mini revulsion. Like,
really? That's
yeah,
sensitive.
I feel all. It's in the pit of my stomach. My body feels lethargic, like it doesn't want to do anything for the next 45 minutes besides sit there and be fat. You know?
Well,
Every
it's funny
time
you say that. When I eat McDonald's, I think of how good it used to be. Right, Jeff? You used to think about how good it
Yeah,
was, man.
that's true. It used to be better, and it is really good if you eat in a McDonald's overseas. It's not the same crap that you have here. I ate at McDonald's not by choice, but I was in Spain and I was at the airport, and the food was really good, much better than here. But what I like about doing the mini fasting is if I want something, I have it. I find that I generally eat less and I'm more aware of what I eat. But I don't really feel guilty about what I eat. I just try to stay within that 8-hour window. And even when I step outside of that, because of situations, I don't feel like I'm depriving myself or anything. So I kind of like it that way. But on the same token, I don't really feel like bad foods either. So.
Well, I'll tell you, Tommy, your life doesn't depend on, that you snuck in an extra couple of slices of pizza. The thing is that
Sorry, go ahead.
if you gain like 5 pounds in a month, then hey, wait a second, buddy, you're out of control. See what I mean?
Well, where I was going with that was that this guilt or whatever it is actually makes the food not taste as good. So if I go to Taco Bell, knowing that it's greasy, it's
Just saying that will put me off.
Yeah,
I have to kill like sections of my brain when I eat at Taco Bell and say, I'm not okay. You know how they have the food, what's it called? The food making in front of you that you can watch the food being made. I just don't look at that.
Yeah. So the point is, I don't like fast food anymore. I think it maybe my brain is sort of psychologically, making it unappealing to me. But on the other hand, I love. Like restaurant food, we eat at restaurants quite a bit, and I love that food, even if it's bad for you. I mean, I'll feel guilty, but I'll eat it anyway. But yeah, so.
Okay, so you go to Great American Ranch and Cattle Company and you order a salad, right?
Well, we don't go to places like that, but yeah, I know what you mean.
You go to Chili's and I guess you could order.
My soft spot is Mexican food, so I will go. That's my splurge. We'll have fajitas or enchiladas or something like that.
Right. Okay. That's high living. Oh, I don't mind dining well, having a good meal. The only thing is that I know the person only knows they can do that on a certain day or two. They can't like indulge in that because they have goals. Indian food's very tasty too. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Jeff. Okay, so is there like a practical way of approaching a diet in your sense, besides keeping score? Like, would you weigh yourself every week? Or is it just you just look in the mirror and that's good enough?
Well, I weigh myself every day, actually.
Wow, interesting. So I weigh myself. Okay, why do you weigh yourself every day?
I don't know. It's just
You just-
data.
You like to keep. This is data. You like to
See
keep
whether I'm
score.
trending up or down.
Interesting.
No,
Okay.
I jump on the scale in the morning. I mean, I miss it every now and then, but yeah, I usually weigh myself in the morning. See
Okay,
how I'm
you
doing.
trend up. What goes through your mind?
I'm aware of it, and I need to cut back. Now your weight fluctuates, I think, anyway.
Yeah, water.
Water, yeah, absolutely. So I don't get too jazzed up. But if there's a certain weight that I get to, it kind of triggers me to cut back or to watch what I'm doing. But I have. It was the same when I quit smoking. I didn't want to be thinking about smoking all the time, so I didn't do the patch. I didn't cut back, so I would be thinking about, when I could have my next cigarette. I knew that would make me crazy, and it wouldn't work for me. Food, unfortunately, you can't quit cold turkey.
Right.
But so I've tried to make it as stress-free, and I've tried a lot of things. Low carb works pretty well for me.
Low carb. Wow, ketogenic. Okay.
Yeah, when I do, and if I have a lot of carbs, that was one thing. Breakfast is full of carbs, and I always feel tired and crappy after I ate breakfast. So it was a kind of an easy meal for me to cut out. But I don't really think about it that much. I have what I want, and it's like if somebody's having a birthday party and there's cake or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't keep that in my house, but I'll say, screw it. I'll have a piece of cake right
Right.
now, and I just do it within that window, and that's how I prefer to. I prefer to limit the time space, and if you do the 8-hour window, where
eating.
I don't eat anything before 11 a.m. or after 7 p.m.
That's very good.
And that gives you a fast, and most of that fast you sleep through. So it's kind of easy as compared to other things.
Now, let me ask you this, Jeff. If I broke into your house and stole your scale, would that mess you up mentally? Do you think you have sort of dependence on that scale?
No, it's just something I do. No, and I go on vacation. I don't weigh myself. I don't really care that much. it's just something I do when I'm here. It's not a big deal.
How about you, Tommy? You weigh yourself every day?
No, I've never weighed myself. In fact, I probably haven't weighed myself in years. I know approximately what it is. It's probably about 160. It's probably 162, 160.
Okay.
3, 4, 5, something. But
How
I
tall are you?
I can tell from the way I feel. So if I feel my stomach is getting tight in the jeans, I can tell. I don't need to step on the scale.
If we played like football without keeping score, or baseball without keeping score, you would just feel like you were beating me, or what?
Me?
I mean, how do you
I don't know.
do the diet thing without keeping score?
Like I say, for me, it's just the way it feels, the way it looks.
You look in the mirror, right? You look in the mirror and you see how good you feel and
Yeah.
how
We play a
tall are
game of
you?
golf, and I say, yeah, I shot a 72.
Tommy, how tall? You're 162, and how tall are you?
5'10".
5'10". You're 162.
Wow, you're pretty lean.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but the thing, I mean, my legs and my arms and my chest, it's all very.
Are you
very,
missing a
very
leg?
thin. No. No, like I say, the last place where it could go is in the stomach. So yeah.
My
it's
leg
pretty
is very thick.
good. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm actually very thin. It's just I could use 5 pounds off of that area. So.
Okay, okay, Tommy,
Yeah, I don't need to lose weight. I just need to lose it from there. Just
if you went to
redistribute.
sleep, you said 168 that you weigh, or what?
Yeah, it's probably 162 to 5.
Okay, let's say you went 162. You went to sleep tonight 162, and you woke up at 232. I mean, would you approach it in a different way? Would you start weighing yourself and
If I
cracking
woke up
down?
at what? 232?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like if he went to bed and woke up.
if you went to bed at 162 and you woke up,
If
Would
I
you
was
start
in
weighing
weight loss
yourself?
you
mode,
woke up Kazumi Fowler. I mean,
I
what
probably
would you?
would. If I was in weight loss mode, I probably would. But I'm not in weight loss mode.
You're not in weight loss mode, so you don't.
No. I'm trying to lose my stomach, but I'm not necessarily in the game of losing weight per se. But that is an effect of, when you clean your diet up and exercise a lot and trying to get rid of your stomach, you're going to lose weight. So in a sense I am, but it's not really about the number for me.
All right. How about you, Jeff? You go to sleep, you wake up 262, and all of a sudden you're doing the diet right?
Oh yeah, that would freak me out. I'm like 5'9".
Okay, but the thing is that there are people that are averse to just, they feel it's going to be a failure. You've got to take the first step and just, like in my case, the needle hit zero, and I just went that direction of losing weight. I mean, did you ever have like a period in your life where you just said, I've got to start losing weight and did it?
Oh yeah, well that happened. It's beginning of last year. I was way heavier than I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you just said, that's it. Stop.
Party's over.
Party's over. Actually, that's a good sim, because I did treat it in my mind like a party. It's like I want all the weakoids to leave my body, and I want the real tough people who want to stick around stay. I actually use that metaphor in my mind. It's like the party's over.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you think that your weight training is contributing to your inability to lose weight?
That's what I thought, because I'm thinking. Well, the thing is, like, I could go measure my metrics at the gym, right, and they could tell me that I'm lost a lot of fat. But the thing is, Tom, when you work out, you get all these veins, right, and so all of a sudden I'm getting all veiny.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm getting leaned out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably muscle, coming in.
But muscle weighs more than.
That's right. The thing is that I just, like you, I have a little flabby around my belly, and I'm just sick of that thing, and I want it to go away.
Yeah, I hate it. I truly hate it.
Well, I'll tell you how the vegan, the next 10-week diet is going to be vegetables only, and I'll tell you,
That's I'd love to have that sort of discipline. Let me know how it goes.
Well, you could be looking at the news reports for the mass murder that happens down here.
Exercise the area, right? If you have some chub on the belly, you have to do exercises designed to target that area.
I heard, but the thing is that when you grow older,
It's very hard to target an area, a specific area, isn't it?
Right.
Your core, the core of your body is one of the easiest ones, dude. There's many different things that can build your like the lats right here.
Right.
By doing that, you'll work out this whole muscle group. You can just lay on the ground and like just alternate leg movements up and down. You know what I mean? Like in a position, and that it's a very easy thing to do, and like any age can do it. You just got to be able to lie down, right?
Well,
that's great.
I
for
do
people
push-ups.
that are lazy.
Push-ups, yeah, that's good.
Push-ups.
Well, what I've discovered, just a quick interjection here, brother.
I know it doesn't address the core directly.
The fat comes off from the extremities, right? Like, my wrist is thin. The fat, comes off from the extremities, so, it's just working its way down to the stomach. The stomach is the center, so. Anyway, go ahead.
Most of your guys' weights at, right? It's in the paunch area,
Right.
Like where the gut's at, the core, the abs, the upper legs. That is kind of like where guys get fat, right there, and then.
Right.
If we're lucky, sometimes some guys get like super big, but for me, like I don't have that, dude. I'm 35. I don't have anything like that at all. There's no belly. There's nothing, dude. It's all flat. And it's because I do those leg things. I alternate my leg movements back and forth, horizontally and vertically. I do that a couple times a week, dude. And it's just keeping up with it, right? Just making sure you do it a couple times a week at least. And then build it up, and you will.
Well,
it works, man.
You know what I've noticed? It's that I could poke my stomach, and it's hard, right? Except there's this layer of fat right now.
I know. You just got to keep doing it. And cardio to get rid of the upper layers of fat, like you're talking about. It's cardio. Going for walks. Go for a long walk every day.
Have you ever had an issue with your stomach pushing out, or no? Or have you just always
Me?
stayed on top of it? No, I'm talking
Oh,
lyrics.
lyrics,
No, no. I've always tried to maintain like
tone.
that core part since I was like in the military, dude.
Hmm.
Like learning those exercises, just alternate. You don't even have to do sit-ups, man. You can move your legs in various positions that'll alternate like different parts of your stomach, right? The lower half, the middle,
Of the core, right? Good.
yeah. It divides up just leg movements divides up the core into different segments. And walking does like a lot of the lower half of your abs.
Mm.
Just walking, dude. Or running. Just that movement, your legs moving, it forces your abs to move.
Okay, so we're lucky guys because obviously we're active and watch our diets and stuff like that. If you could just tell anything to some person who wants to get into fitness and activity, what would you tell them? What do you think is the basic idea? How about you go first, Jeff? Just to.
Well, I'm 55. Try to do something every day, a little something. Work your way up. I think maybe muscle tone when you get to be older. Upper body strength is important. That's where you kind of sag and you can have testosterone issues and stuff like that that can make you flabby. And I think, from what I understand, working on the upper body strength is kind of key for older men, of which I find myself a category
Luckily,
that I find myself in.
like they say at the gym, you're not waking up staring at dirt, right? You're still alive.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, how about your lyrics? How would you, help somebody like, say, a Kazumi Fowler out there who needs to dive in, really needs to start caring?
If you want to lose weight or whatever, it's gonna hurt, right? There's gonna be a lot of pain involved and a lot of sweat and stuff. If you don't like doing that, you probably shouldn't even bother, dude, right?
Okay, should
But
surrender.
I'm telling you, the only difference, like diet is a lot, right? But a lot of times people can't afford food or they whatever. To eat really well is very expensive. We can all admit that. And I found that activity and constantly pushing myself every day is the only way that I stay fit. Once I start getting lazy, then no.
Okay, well, how about this, lyrics? Do they have to buy that bag of Doritos?
I wouldn't buy the bag of Doritos.
But do they? I mean, that's the problem with somebody who's fighting
I can
with
only do what works
obesity.
for me. Like, I don't eat crap food constantly. I will splurge every once in a while, but I eat at least 2 meals a day, one big one, and I'm constantly active, dude.
You know what I found to be an excellent appetite suppressant is lemon water. I know other people
Yes.
have. I drink it a lot. I used to have this bad habit of when I drove home, it was close to an hour's drive, and I'd pass this quick convenience store, and I'd always feel like getting a bag of pretzels or something. And now I just fill up with a glass of lemon water, and I get home just fine, and I'm not hungry when I get home. So managing your appetite, I think, is really huge. If you don't do that, you're not going to really succeed with any kind of restrictions if you're starving all the time. It's kind of like managing your appetite and knowing why you're hungry and what foods make you hungrier. Like carbohydrates make me.
Yes.
I can't get enough of them. Once I start eating them, they're like heroin.
Very true.
I can't get enough, and so finding out what foods and drinks and things make you not so hungry all the time, I think, is really important.
I'd like to welcome Neil to the show. Okay, Tommy, well, let me ask you real quick. Somebody who needs to dive into dieting, I mean, what's basic advice you could give them?
I guess my favorite advice would be, go buy a juicer. And
Juicer.
There's a whole world of juicing that it's just such a cool, different sort of lifestyle that you can get into that is healthy and an appetite suppressant. And along with that, I'd buy a Vitamix.
Vitamix.
And Vitamix, you can make all kinds of soups and stuff that's raw, natural, organic stuff. The thing is, that stuff can help you change your taste buds. So like what Jeff was saying, the carbohydrates and pizzas and all that stuff, that it's addicting.
Right.
But if you start eating organic, raw, there's a certain love and a certain beauty about that food that your taste buds can change if you give that a chance and start eating it, and you'll soon learn that that really high carb, sugary thing isn't near as potently tasteful as some of this other stuff you can juice or use your Vitamix for. Real foods, and so that would be the real thing, is just to get on a real diet and cut the crap out. Cut the sugars and the
Cut all processed sugar,
sodas, processed food. Just cut that crap out and get on a real. I know you're not a God person, but the stuff that God or nature,
God-like being.
God-like, nature made it. Whatever, the stuff that grows from the ground. Yeah, that stuff.
All right. Well, Neil, welcome to the show. Do you have anything? I mean, as far as your diet experience or how to start a diet? Hey, Sid. Welcome to the show.
Neil likes Italian food.
Hey, Sid.
Dude, Neo is like a gourmet chef.
Yeah, he is.
He is a
Talk to
gourmet.
him about diets.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Neil.
Sometimes for me, it was hard for me to gain weight when I was a kid. So I mean, that's had a lot to do. I had a nutritionist looking after me. They were giving me Ensure drinks and all kinds of stuff, telling me to pound down pounds of bacon, and finally it worked. I guess I worked my I beat the hell out of my metabolism until it submit to me. I don't know. I just kept eating and eating and eating and eating.
Right.
And then finally, I think I was at 160 pounds, and that was like the breaking point that I couldn't get past.
Right.
And finally, I shot from 160 to like 200 pounds pretty quick.
Wowee. Okay, so how many times do you eat a day now?
Not very often because, like I have dental problems. But yeah, now it's like I still eat a lot, but I mean, I can't go past 200 either. So.
All right.
How much I eat? It's like I don't know what it is. I have really high metabolism.
Very good. Okay, well, how about Sid? Are you online yet? Welcome to the show.
Oh, hi. Thanks.
Okay, Sid. Are you trying a diet for 2016 or not?
No.
Why not? You are in the perfect shape you want to be in, or you surrendered?
I've always eaten well and I walk a lot, so. And I eat as little shit as possible.
Okay,
Right now,
no fast
for
food.
example, right now I'm eating whole wheat pita, what's this stuff called? Hummus. And olives.
All right, real Mediterranean cuisine, like the Mediterranean diet?
Yeah, that's my main diet. Actually, I shouldn't say it's my main diet. It's one of them. Another one I do is I make pasta sauce.
Pasta.
My own pasta. Well, yeah, I put vegetables and stuff like that inside.
Okay, do you still drink a lot of alcohol? Let that kill your metabolism, or you try to stay away from that?
I've never drunk a lot of alcohol.
Okay.
So that's probably one of the major pluses of my life, is that I've never been an alcohol lover.
Have you ever had a weight problem?
I did shortly after I got married, second time.
Okay.
And yes, I never had a weight problem. I just ate a lot and got big. But then at the same time, it was easy to lose.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have that much problem losing it.
No.
Okay. You're one of those person that can just throw off weight at will, or do you have to actually work on a diet?
No, I don't have to work at it. I mean, I have to walking every single day, just like Lyric said, is invaluable. And staying away from the carbs, like Jeff said, is a supporter. That's all you got to do. Eat smart, exercise.
Okay, well,
Stay away from the alcohol, for fuck's sake.
it's interesting what Neil said about exotic meats like Kobe beef. Is there a bad beef to eat, Neil? A bad meat to stay away from? Red meat?
Yeah, I like having the thought of that eating different kinds of foods definitely boosts your immune system in certain ways, especially if you eat some kind, So I'm kind of an open-minded eater. I like to try all kinds of stuff and see how different it is. But a bad meat,
Like a bologna. Like if I'm eating bologna sandwiches, is that a bad meat?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, processed food is
Terrible.
bad for you. We all know that. Anything
Okay.
that's processed on it, please stay away from. It's probably loaded up with a bunch of fillers, and
Mhm.
that's the problem. Is the stuff that it's not the meat itself that's bad. It's the stuff that they add to it that's bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if I buy lean beef, ground beef from the grocery store, is that still good, or should I buy, just chuck, or should I buy meat and actually grind it up myself?
Cook
That'd be
your own
fun.
meat.
I would say I'd like to buy organic all the time. I can't afford it either. I mean, organic meat's pretty expensive compared to what they pump out there with full of antibiotics in it and whatever. But
Well, even if you don't buy organic, just buy raw and cook it yourself.
yeah, I wish I had a farm.
Okay. Well, you guys eat a lot of chicken.
Oh yeah.
Chicken is cheap, and it's not like red meat. It's a lot easier on the digestion. They would have you eat a lot of fish, but it seems like the only fish I really eat is tuna because that's the only thing I can afford. How about you guys? You guys buy tapatía and all that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you do?
Fish is like, I don't understand why people don't look at the Japanese people and see how healthy they are simply because of the things that they eat like fish. They eat more fish than any other country on the planet.
Right. The trouble I think with us, like me and Tommy, we're landlocked. We're here in Texas, so there's just not, where our fish is like catfish, right, Tommy? I mean, we don't have
Fried
fish,
catfish.
right?
Yeah. Well, we have some, but yeah, I don't eat much. In fact, I hardly ever. Now that you say that, I do eat tuna fish, but that's about it generally.
Because we can need those omega-3s and what do they call it? DMA. I'm gonna read here on my supplements. You have to take some DHA and EPAs.
Yeah, the acids in it is what helps break down the fat in your body. See what I'm
Yeah. It's got like crude oil in it too, and nuclear fallout radiation also. Those are two benefits of fish.
I heard a fish story recently. They're running out of fisheries, or something's happening at the fishery where the fish are getting all diseased and stuff because
That's
they.
terrible. Okay, guys. So you ever worried that you're gonna have to just start eating healthier than you would have? No more Big Macs, no more
Why
Whoppers.
can't we just make a pill, right? A pill that I eat. That's it, man. You're healthy, right? Why can't I just get one of those? Why do I have to watch what I eat? Why do I have to not sit on my ass all the time, dude? I mean, come on.
Well, this is one complaint I have with evolution, even though I'm an atheist and I think evolution is accurate. Is why haven't we evolved to where we could, where what is really good for us is what tastes good. I know you can. I'm just being sort of.
Well, the answer to that is time. I mean, evolution takes time. And the things that they put in the food have just come up within the last 100 years, right, Tommy? I mean, all these food additives.
I'm not being serious, but.
Well, I think that's the problem.
Given enough time, we will make a creature that can withstand all these additives.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I don't think our systems were meant for these really an overload of toxins. So I think that's what it amounts to. And that's the thing about meat. I think meat per se probably isn't necessarily bad for you, but the problem is it's so loaded with antibiotics and hormones. To make the beef and the chickens grow, they inject them with lots of hormones.
Okay.
So what am I supposed to eat, hey?
I know.
What do you guys think I should eat? Because everything is like got shit in it. So.
Okay. Would it bother you to know, Lyrics, that most of the meat manufacturing plants in America are owned by the Mormons?
The Mormons?
Yes.
That's cool.
What do you say? What say you, Tommy?
I love when the Mormons handle my meat.
No, I didn't know that. Is that true?
That's from what I heard, that most of the meat processing manufacturers are owned by the Mormons.
Well, they wear magic underwear, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, the thing is, okay, we're having problems with our meat. Doesn't bother you, right?
No.
Okay.
Who should I entrust my meat to?
George Bush had a wonderful idea at one time to let the Saudis own all our ports. Remember that one during his presidency?
Well, who do you want handling your meat then, Bunto? I mean, if you don't want the Mormons, who is it?
We need to have somebody who's really conscious about what is being put into the food, and really start cracking down on it.
Is that what you want, dude? You want all the vegans?
Well, vegans wouldn't get rid of the meat industry altogether, but I feel like, somebody who's cognizant of the fact that this meat is
PETA. PETA.
the meat is being over chemicalized. How's that? A new way of thinking about meat in America. Is that hippie?
The hippies. Let the hippies do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And who are the only people that really care about that shit, Bunto, that make a conscious effort? They're vegans, right?
Environmentalists. Environmentalists.
Yeah.
If we told the people in the 50s that we could make a Twinkie then that would last all the way to the 2016, I mean, what do you think they would? They say that's wonderful that trans fats can make something last that long, or would they realize that this is carcinogenic to the, that's not in their benefit to have a wonderful thing like a Twinkie that lasts over 60 years?
What's wrong with Twinkies, dude?
Okay.
As long as you don't eat the entire carton of Twinkies, right?
Everybody hates Obama because he wants to have an environmental protection agency that actually does something right. So he wanted to crack down on trans fats, and you're against that, Jeff. Obviously, that's big government trying to do the right thing for the body of the public.
I'm for the separation of food and state. Yes.
Everything tasted better with trans fat. What the hell happened?
Okay. Okay, Tommy, why don't you tell us about trans fats? You're inexpensive.
I don't know that much about trans fats really. I just think they should, just like GMO, I think it should be labeled. I don't think they should necessarily make it illegal, just like they haven't made trans fats illegal, but evidently that's really bad for you. But there's this weird push by some people that for whatever reason that food manufacturers have to list the sugar content and every other content of the food that is inside the package, but they don't have to list if it's a genetically modified food. So that's kind of odd to me. But no, I don't think that the government should get involved and be legislating what is and isn't legal. They just
and they've done a horrible job so far. There's a 300% tariff on sugar, which is why corn syrup and everything else is in stuff that we consume. So even sugar is not great for you, but corn syrup is much worse and much more concentrated. So you definitely don't want anything important to be decided by politicians, lobbyists, and influence peddlers, which is how the entire food pyramid was built. It's a special interest pyramid. Ethanol, yes, a huge boondoggle, caused starvation throughout the world. Channeling all these resources into corn for this ridiculous fuel that's terribly inefficient and doesn't save anybody anything.
Okay, so Jeff, if you got a president that actually felt strongly against all the shenanigans in the food industry, you would still not want him to use the power that he had in his executive to correct that. If he knew that ethanol was a scam and he knew that we could lower the tariff on sugar and get a lot more healthier, you still would not want him to do that.
I favor anything or anybody who rolls back the state. So if there was a president who was going to roll back a tax or an intervention in a marketplace or a tariff, I would support them definitely for that, towards that end.
What say you, Lyrics? Do you want the president to finally step to the plate and say, why don't we have real food labels that make sense? And,
I'm not saying I would.
That's one of the
labeling.
biggest.
That's
one of
not
the
the
biggest
same thing.
gripes with government, dude. It's just they don't label food right. Hey, don't eat anything that's a powder, right? That's probably not good for you. If there's any sort of powder in it, bad, right?
Okay.
Powdered mix, powdered sugar mix, powdered stroganoff mix.
We get a lot of apples
dude,
filled with arsenic from China. I mean,
there's not really much we can do about what Obama's going to do, what the government's going to do, right?
Okay.
Eat raw things.
Okay, what happened to Made in America, Jeff? I mean, has that gone by the wayside? Now we get, apples filled with arsenic from China. And, who knows what happens out in Mexico with those, Have
you had an apple with arsenic before?
They have the sewage, the raw sewage plant next to the farm in Mexico, and we're eating food from there.
Well, the only reason there was really a strong presence of American-made goods was because of World War II. Most of the would-be competitors of the U.S. were destroyed for a long time in that episode. But there's no reason why goods and services have to be confined to particular geographical areas, or there's no reason. It's actually destructive. You can find the division of labor is a worldwide thing, and it's some areas are more productive for myriad reasons than others in certain fields, and we should absolutely always trade with them. If somebody has
okay, so you're for NAFTA.
Well, NAFTA was not a free trade act. It was like many government programs. It was what it was called was the opposite of what it did. It was thousands of pages of protections and special favors and to various groups. A free trade agreement is something you could write on the back of an envelope. No, it's not. It doesn't take 12 tens of thousands of pages to spell something like that out.
You know, the lettuce trucks can come in from Mexico. You know, do the American people know that the lettuce factory is next to the raw sewage factory down there in Guadalajara? You know, where they're eating their lettuce from. What say you, Tommy?
Well,
I mean, do you look at the label where the food's made?
I try not to eat anything from China. China's bad news. So.
How about General Tso's chicken?
So.
I love General Tso's, but Tommy has a point. You know what? Fiberglass is in the Wheaties.
Yeah.
I make my own sweet and sour and all that stuff. The Chinese stuff is easy to make at home.
Okay. Well, okay, Neil, would you look at labels where the food's made, or you don't care?
Yeah, no, I definitely do. I'm not going to eat something that's imported. Why would I have to eat something that's imported when I can go right to my backyard and pick it out of a tree? I don't understand. Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Well, people have to do it because it's cheaper.
Fair. I mean, you can do that, but just because something comes from China or some other place, it's kind of xenophobic just to not get stuff from foreigners.
I think it's counterproductive to American economy also. It's because we're outsourcing all these jobs and the industry out to other countries, and people here are losing their jobs day by day. Farmers are losing entire fields of what they have to sell off their farms because they
you know, you can buy your potatoes from Nicaragua, or you can get them from Oregon. What would you rather, Jeff?
Really? Nicaragua sells potatoes?
Yeah, haven't you noticed that when you go to the store and look at the grocery?
Well, a lot of the reasons why foreign countries have trouble, why they're so impoverished, is like with the sugar tariffs that I mentioned, where you have a 300% tariff against sugar. That impoverishes foreign farmers and stuff like that, and it just makes Americans pay too much for stuff. It doesn't. It helps a few special interests, a few Archer Daniels Midland, which is hardly a poverty case. They lobby for this, and they get this protective tariff, which makes them very rich, but it impoverishes everybody else. We should be able to buy sugar from wherever it's cheaper.
Wouldn't it? I agree that it should be available, but and not necessarily for tariffs per se, but wouldn't you agree that it would have to, or would have the effect of helping the Americans who are farmers here, you know, because it would make their products more competitive price-wise, and it would encourage people who live here, the Americans, to buy American. So yeah, it would hurt the foreign farmer, and it would hurt probably the low-income Americans that they couldn't buy the cheap stuff from China.
Exactly.
However, it would increase jobs here. It would increase production. It would increase. It would just be a win-win.
Well, yes, there are some people that would definitely benefit. They would be special interest, and they would want to lobby for all of these things. But everybody else would have to pay for it.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you'd have the mom and pop farms would be helped too.
Well, the mom and pop farms are not. There's almost no such thing as a mom and pop farm anymore. All of this protectionism has created agribusiness. Most farms are not run by mom and pop anymore.
But they've been run out of business.
And that's because they're protective. They're protectionist rackets. They're the people that are lobbying, that have the deep pockets, and they're doing these things. But even if that were the case, there's nothing sacrosanct about mom and pop farmers. It sounds really quaint and all of that, but they shouldn't be subsidized any more than anyone else. And yes, they will benefit by being subsidized, and maybe they'll hire people, and those people will benefit as well. But at large, if you're paying more for goods and services, that's just redirecting your resources to those goods and services rather than other things that you might want to buy and other people that might want to employ people and create things too. So, if you want to, if farmers, you want farmers to be as competitive as possible. If they can't compete with the rest of the world, either find out why they can't compete, which is usually because of government, because it makes people too expensive to hire and stuff like that. But if they honestly can't compete, no, we would not be better off if we were forced to buy coffee in America. It would be terrible coffee. And
well, I can see. Oh, how about this counter, Jeff? I'll bring Sid into this one. Don't the best oranges come from Israel, Sid? They say the best nectarines or something.
Jaffa oranges?
Like, I think from Israel the best oranges come. Well, besides Florida, right? They come.
Well, I mean, they're good
California.
oranges, great oranges.
I thought they came from Florida also because that's where my grandfather's citrus farm was.
I know that there's some sort of citrus that comes from Israel that's very,
grapefruit.
Grapefruit, baby, right? Okay, so you go ahead and you go to the store and you buy the thing that says, grapefruit from Israel, right? And you're all stoked, right? But then you learn that, hey, it's just another country saying, hey, let's pretend we're Israel and sell Americans these. You see what I mean? That's where it would help if we actually knew where the food was coming from.
Well, I prefer the 100-mile, the 100-mile rule.
No, what's that?
Don't eat anything that's not made. Don't eat anything that's grown greater than 100 or further than 100 miles away from where you live.
Well,
I said the same thing. I was like, why am I going to outsource something that grows in Nicaragua when it grows in my backyard?
That's fair enough if that's your preference. That's certainly valid and all of that. I was talking more about tariffs and legal barriers to trading worldwide, which I'm opposed to. But no, I can see merit in buying local produce and goods and services. But I certainly would not want to trade the things that I do think are better off that I want to buy worldwide, such as coffee and cars and things like that are much better overseas. So economics is trading value for value, and if you're not competitive in the world market, that's unfortunate. But nobody else should have to subsidize you or bail you out because of that.
Yes, I agree. I'd rather own a Subaru than a Ford. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. So NAFTA was a subsidy towards foreign governments.
Yeah, NAFTA was not a free trade agreement. It was 12,000 pages of legalese. Copyright protections is always big in for so-called free trade bills. GATT was another example, full of favors, protectionism, stuff like that. If you want to have a free trade zone, all you need to do is say, if you're in Mexico, you can buy and sell stuff without any third-party involvement. Okay,
so a libertarian president would encourage us to buy American, or would they say, hey, let's let the market take over?
To me, a good libertarian president, if there is such a thing, would be one who advocated free trade and who separated economics from politics entirely.
So we wouldn't get any America first from a real libertarian president.
Correct.
Interesting. Hi, Sugar. Welcome to the show. We're talking right now at this point of the show. We're talking about where our foods come from. Do you have any ideas about that? I don't know if she got her mic plugged in or not.
I have a question for you, Bunto.
Go ahead.
Do you think it's odd or it kind of disappointing that the schools, I think the fact that they don't teach nutrition and the value of that and the value of how to eat and how to treat yourself, that is not one of the core concepts as you go through school. Whereas math, you're taught that every year. I mean, I think math is highly overrated. I think people would be much better off if they learned how to eat and how to treat themselves. I just find, getting back to the subject, not the other one's bad, but that it's real unfortunate that society has basically abandoned teaching people how to consume, so that they're healthy and live long, healthy, disease-free as much as possible lives,
Well, I did not know they stopped teaching nutrition in school because I remember they taught us that in elementary school. We had this thing called Mulligan Stew. I don't know if you remember it. It was like some TV show that they showed us. They had a food pyramid, remember, guys, and showed us how to eat
They
milk.
still have health class in school, man.
Special interest pyramid.
They still
But now
kids nutrition.
But now we have fat acceptance, and we want you to like your body, and
Well, you remember that pyramid had 13 breads or something?
Yeah, the grain lobby was all over the food pyramid.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was.
When I buy a loaf of rye bread, that's a lobby, Jeff?
Well, you're buying rye bread from a producer of rye bread or a farmer. No, the political part of it is that it's in this official government statement of nutrition, and so they were heavily involved in that. So that's
damn the Freemason food per pyramid.
Man, that was a bad pyramid.
Well, okay, that pyramid was faulty, right, Jeff? We could make a better food pyramid, and a libertarian president would do that.
I think the libertarian president would say would bow out of the food business, and if there was a legitimate role for a libertarian president, it would be to protect the rights of the citizens, and they can figure out their own nutrition much better than government bureaucrats can. So you wouldn't want government bureaucrats designing Google Plus or anything of importance, or your iPhone or anything like that. Imagine what that would look like. So if they can't do that, why would you want them doing stuff that's really important, like nutrition or education or anything like that? We seem to relegate our most important things to the least competent institution to take care of it.
You could say that, Jeff, but the thing is that we had this thing called the Gilded Age. You remember, where there was really no government intrusion, and then that was it led to the Great Depression. What happens is the government actually has to step in and lay down the law to the whole body of a country. What is the most healthiest behavior for it.
Okay, so 1913, the Federal Reserve is founded to protect us against the many booms and busts that they had in the 19th century. We had depressions and panics in the 19th century that tended to last from a year to 3 years at the most, and they were caused by localized shenanigans with money supply because there wasn't a nationally based currency as there is now. But after 1913, we were told that the purpose for the Federal Reserve was to keep us from having these booms and busts and to protect the value of our money. Well, since then, the money has dropped in value. 94 to 95% are the estimates. Let's say they're 80%. That's pretty much an abysmal failure. And also, the depressions that were a few months long to a couple of years, we had the biggest depression under the Federal Reserve and the abandonment of the gold standard. It lasted 16 years. That had never happened in the history of the world. So the money has been devalued. They had the most horrific depression ever, and have had many that approximate that, including the current downturn. So no, the government did not rescue us from the Gilded Age or anything of the sort. So
let's just leave that there, and let me ask Sugar. Hi, Sugar. Welcome to the show. Do you feel like the government should have a part in saying what is healthy to the populace of its nation?
Well, we are the government, so we ought to say what is.
Speak for yourself.
No, we are. The people that run the government are humans, and those of us who vote are humans. We are the government, and we are. So it's us. We ought to take care of it. The people who work for manufacturing companies, they're humans. They know when stuff's going out substandard. We are all responsible. Humanity is responsible for humanity at the end of the day. So I don't care what you call it. I don't care what name it has. We ought to value life more than we do. I keep hearing money.
Go ahead and talk, Sugar. Tell us about what the government should do to make our populace healthier.
Well, first of all, I think I would stop calling it the government and maybe
Okay.
shift our paradigm to realize that we are it, and we run this, and we choose to have a 38 or 39 or 40% voter turnout when and we decide to turn a blind eye. We decide to be apathetic. We decide to tell other people your vote doesn't count. We decide all these things, and until each of us decides to do different, it's going to stay the same. So I can't tell you what the government should do. I know for myself.
Well, okay. What do you think about helping American farmers? Do you think that's foremost, or you want to be like Jeff and just say, hey, the free market? If the better products come from Nicaragua, that's where we get them.
Well, I'm gonna say that I may not have enough knowledge of the entire the way the whole thing works, what actually is better than the other. My first gut instinct is that we should take care of what we have at home, right? That's my first
Right.
guess. But yet, if we have to, going outside to the market or out to the rest of the world would be fine. But also, certain cultures eat certain things because it grows in their area. Maybe some of those things we don't have to have. I mean, we're so decadent. We're
Okay.
so greedy. We have to have what we want when we want it.
Well, let me describe this to you, honey. We know that lettuce is cheaper from Mexico,
Mhm.
but then we know that the lettuce farm is right next to the sewage dump down there in Guadalajara.
But so are
So-
ours. So are ours because
Okay, so are ours, right? Okay, so that's the counter, right, Jeff? That we can't call poo-poo on Mexico because we do the same things up here.
those farm workers, they have a job to do, and they go right where they need to go, and that's in the ground, as people have forever. But yet, unfortunately, what happens is it gets on the fruit and vegetable. I mean, animals poop and pee all over our crops too, and we're not freaking out over the animals.
Is that
But
true,
it's
Jeff?
those dirty, filthy Mexicans that do our dirty work that nobody else wants to do. We have a problem with them.
I think there is a little xenophobia going on when we say, oh, the Mexicans, they're so primitive and all that. But there is a
They're
demand.
primitive. Oh,
No, I
primitive.
didn't say that. I'm saying that people seem to people seem to have this thing about foreigners that stuff
Caricature.
Aren't we
from there as
aren't we
inferior.
all foreigners? I mean, did we forget that we are a melting pot, that we have all come from immigrant
Well, I
families?
agree
Yeah,
with
but
you.
you can
Yes.
understand what
No,
Jeff's saying,
I agree
sugar.
with you. I agree with you. I'm not sure you're following what I'm saying, but I would agree with that. Yes, we all are. We're all, and where we were born does not make us virtuous. You know, the GPS coordinates of where my mom had me does not mean that that's the best place in the world or anything like that. It may be. It may not be.
Okay, our farm system is just the same as Mexico's, Jeff. What happened to the free market there?
I don't know what that means. I don't know if
Well, okay, she was saying.
Ohio's farm system is not the same as Missouri's farm system. So
Okay,
is
our
yes,
farm
there's
system
differences,
superior to
similarities.
Mexico's? Our way of harvesting and taking care of our
In what
land.
way? I don't know.
We have different standards.
Well,
for sure.
Sugar said that our animals poop and pee over our produce just
No,
the
I mean
same
wild
as they do in
animals.
Mexico.
Wild animals go. I mean, what do you think? There's a rat or a squirrel or whatever says, "Oh, that's old man Escobar's farm.
Well,
I
this is
shouldn't."
what I do know. What
Well,
I do know
I
is
think this is kind of groupthink and collectivist thinking. So there are probably some farms in Mexico that are superior to some farms in the U.S. So we
okay.
get this whole groupthink idea that it's all or nothing. That clouds our thinking.
All right.
It's like having an indoor
measure-
cat and thinking it's never going to go
You-
up on the counter because you
if
tell it
you-
not to.
But just if you measure like the productive output, a coffee harvester or whatever in South America is going to be more productive than a coffee harvester up here. So some things are better and some things aren't.
Well, okay. I was talking you're right, Joe. I was talking more in terms of sanitary conditions. Okay.
But did we ever ask why those conditions are different? I mean, does anybody
Go ahead,
care
sir.
about that?
Why are they different?
I'm asking because it's like if our people are not putting out a good product, I mean, that we can't buy.
Well, I would say that, if you ask on the whole, our food industry and our own populace, isn't the American system of farming supposed to be superior than anywhere else in the world? They would say, of course, it's supposed to be, and speaking in terms of sanitary conditions, Jeff, all right? that is instilled in the American mind that we do things, on a high level of sanitary conditions here in this country, opposed to foreign countries like, we brought up China earlier. Who knows what goes in those.
And you care about that, and a lot of people care about that, and therefore the market has a way of taking care of those things.
But sugar.
And even if you don't want to do due diligence and see which factories, wherever they may be, whether they're in Mexico or Ohio or whatever, which farms, if you don't want to do that due diligence yourself, there are any number of kind of resources where people do those kinds of checks and can tell you. Like, you have Consumer Reports to tell you what kind of things you should buy. They test them. They
Fine. That's what I mean.
And you can have that in a farm system or any other kind of system.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Jeff. Jeff, if you found out, if it was revealed that our farming system was just the equivalent of anywhere else in the world, would you blame the government or would you blame the free market for that failing?
I'm sorry, if it were.
If you found out, if it was revealed that our system, sanitary conditions, was just the same as it was anywhere over the world, just the same as it was in China, would you blame that, what'd you call it, dearth in superiority to our government, the regulations, or to the free market and not caring what quality of food goes out to the American populace?
I would blame it according to who's responsible. If the government was doing things that undermined incentives to, if they were, let's say they had a program where they were shielding people like they do in the pharmaceutical industry, shielding people from liability. Let's say they were doing that with farmers, then it would be the government's
libertarian
fault.
idea is that the free market will get us a better product. Is that not true? What you've always said.
That tends to be the case if it is a free market. But if it's not a free market, if the government is actually immunizing people against prosecution, let's say, or protecting them like they do with pharmaceuticals, then it would be their fault. So it depends on the situation. But no, I would not take something about a geographical area and just assume the fault was one institutions or another without looking into it. Obviously, I wouldn't do that.
Anyone?
The invisible hand of the economy just does not fix itself a lot of times, right, man? Like, you got to admit, that kind of thinking is reliant upon just trusting that the market will work. Or,
The people running those
it'll
things
be all
are
right. And a lot of times, dude, like, our infrastructure, we can't take that kind of risk, right, man? We can't just be like, hey, whatever, the entire food structure just shit the bed. Let the market decide.
We know that our economy is driven by the profit, right? So, like, let's say we took a McDonald's today and compared it, the sanitary conditions with a McDonald's like in the 60s or 50s. Would you say that ours is worse?
Probably would be better.
You think? Okay, you would think our sanitary conditions are better than those McDonald's.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's not productive to pollute, and when you have a basic market system that's based on property rights, where property is privately owned, and the people are responsible for the harm that they commit against other people, that's the basic economic question. Then they will tend to be better. But things are generally less polluted. I don't know specifically about McDonald's, but things generally are cleaner than they were in years past.
The worker in the 1950s and 1960s McDonald's was making a worthwhile wage. The worker now in McDonald's is, begging for minimum wage. I mean, so the quality of labor and the quality of effort that goes into cleanliness, I think, would be much lower.
Yeah, but you've got stronger cleaning products.
The minimum wage is higher than it was in the 60s.
It's inflation, man.
Well, but you have to, like Lyrics was saying, you have to compare it to the per capita. I mean, the wage of the people that are working at McDonald's now is, compared to what what do they call that? That they, like Lyrics was saying, for inflation, they adjust for inflation. Yeah. I mean, they're making a much less substantive wage than the 60s and 50s.
What was it adjusting for inflation in the 50s and 60s?
I don't know, but the thing is that...
Well, you don't know, you're making this claim.
This is what I know. This is what I know. This is the reason I bring the claim up, Jeff.
Okay.
Because we've been sitting on the minimum wage for so long. That's the main argument is that people cannot subsist on the minimum wage as it is today.
Well,
But back then they could.
in the 70s, when I got my first job as a car jockey at a dealership, I was making the minimum wage, and in 1977 it was something around 265.
Yeah, or something.
So, well, yeah, or something. It was not 750.
Okay, but okay. All right, so you would say that the people are being overpaid for the minimum wage? For, compared to what?
No, I wouldn't make that statement. Some people would be making that amount either way, if that's their market value, their productivity.
There are people today bringing up the case that we have an institutionalized slavery with the way we handle minimum wage.
You guys were debating on how much we should
that's a real
take away from people, right, because of their job. So you're like saying, hey, we're going to say, do you think there should be a minimum wage, or like how people should pay? You're saying we should all agree that we should have statuses and like a system, a tier, and
well, unfortunately,
that's okay. That's cool.
Unfortunately, maybe for you, but unfortunately, the minimum wage law does not say that you have to employ somebody. It just says that if you do employ them, you have to pay them a certain amount.
That's not the point.
I know, but that's so bad, dude.
But what really happens is if that person's productivity is not worth that minimum wage, they just won't get hired. They won't have a job, and you're actually undermining. You're actually undermining. You're actually undermining their ability to compete, and that's why unions are very much in favor of minimum wages. Not because, well, maybe they do care about poor people in some abstract way, but it's also in their interest to not have a low-wage competition, and that's why they favor minimum wage laws, not because not because they're so caring about people, but
okay,
no.
Go ahead, Sugar.
Minimum wage is mandatory unemployment for a certain class of people.
Go ahead, Sugar.
I didn't know if Lyric was on that path. I can go, but if you have something else to say, Lyric. I hear it different.
It's fine. If you have to speak, say something.
No, I was just going to echo what you had said. It's appalling to me that we even discuss such things, that we are so distracted by things that are so unimportant, and human life is so devalued. It's becoming more and more apparent to me, and it disgusts me in ways I can't imagine. The fact that we don't see, that when the UK gets rid of certain sweeteners 25 years before, and we've still got them, or we still had them when
right.
other people are doing things, and we think, well, we're America, we don't do it that way. Do we think these people are Neanderthals? No. I mean, we're so arrogant, and then we're losing track. Women are choosing not to breastfeed. What the hell? Decadence. Your breasts are for babies. That's our job. It's our gift. That's how we're so great. If you cannot because of an illness or some kind of deformity, that's one thing. But we've told women that your reproductive stuff is secondary, and raising children, not important. Just ship them out to daycare. Even though we know the mortality rate goes up and psychopaths are more. I mean, nobody values a child anymore, right? They pop them out of their vagina, and then they put them.
Here?
But it's the same thing. You guys are focusing on things that don't even matter in this world. I mean, how can you not see those things?
Point taken. Well, coming back to labor, okay, we've that was a good point that you brought up, Sugar. Okay, Jeff, they say if we pay people a decent minimum wage, then like I go buy a lettuce, it costs like $300 at the groceries. We've got to have undocumented labor do this sort of price, because that's the only way American products can stay competitive. Like you brought up the labor unions. They say, shoot, if we applied that standard to the farming industry.
I don't think labor has to be documented. I'm against that too. I'm against.
Dude, why don't people why isn't it part of labor unions to negotiate for inflation change, right? For our ratio to be a little bit less than what it was 20 years ago.
Because your productivity may not be in line with inflation.
Wait a minute.
So my
They do negotiate that. I was union for
Oh,
25 years.
I know they do. I know they negotiate.
Really?
It's upside
But they
down.
also cover. But no, they also cover for lazy workers. They also allow the bad productivity people to stay because they get out of their disciplinary actions by some loophole. Bullshit. My grandfather needed it in the 20s, right?
I
Because he
thought you
can't.
just said it happened.
What?
I'm sorry. I was agreeing with you, and then you said bullshit. I didn't.
No, I said it's. I think the unions are bullshit when they protect lazy workers. So you can't have a union devalue. Maybe they felt you didn't have value. Well, they can't pass judgment on you and then create you. I mean, they create lazy workers or lazy workforce by letting people get away with murder.
So
They restrict the entry into those fields, thereby guaranteeing higher wages for fewer people. It's basically
In what world? Is that what they teach you in some textbook? Because that's not how it worked, at least in the industry I was in, and we had several
well,
different.
no, you're aware that there are closed shops. That's because they're protecting a few laborers, making them more scarce and making their wages higher. That's
What
how it
happens when
works
the people
economically.
die? What happens when somebody dies or quits? Does that shop just float away? I mean, do new workers pop out of the? It's not closed.
No, there's always new workers.
Yes.
Yes, no, they don't. No, you're right. They don't. When people die, they do replace them, but they keep the numbers down overall. Yes, there's attrition, people retire, and so forth.
That
But
has to do with
they are
what
restricting. It's a barrier to entry. That's why states have closed shops where it's illegal to in some states to actually take a non-union job in a union
Right. Yeah.
shop.
Scabs.
So they're restricting.
We're
That's
okay
what they're
with them
called.
restricting.
I would
Well, I
call
guess we
them
should be
heroes.
okay. We should be happy. We should be happy that they restrict and don't let enough people in there
Okay.
so they can make them lazy. Good.
you could see that. Okay, one thing, Jeff. So you're not for documenting workers. So like you could have a McDonald's with undocumented workers, a nuclear power plant with undocumented workers, right? You're fine with that?
Yeah, show us your papers is kind of a totalitarian kind of thing.
Jeff, a nuclear
Yeah, and
power
show us your
plant
papers.
run by
Show us your papers
undocumented
means we have to
workers.
provide for you.
No.
Really, dude?
You were talking about two different things. You're talking about people who are, yes, if you have a sensitive job where you're in a nuclear plant, then yes, you should have a background check and all that kind of things. You totally changed the subject. That's not the same thing as somebody working at McDonald's.
Okay.
How about like your
Are
local?
they not
felon?
laborers?
How about a local felon at your McDonald's working at McDonald's?
That's a good point.
Well,
Right.
given all of the
Robert.
nonviolent felonies, I wouldn't be too alarmed about that. In fact, actually, Waffle
How about
House
super
hires
violent?
a lot
Like
of
murder.
ex-cons.
Like a dude just got out of murder for serving 20 for murder, and he's working at Burger King, dude.
Because that's where he can work, right? Lyrics.
Well,
Yeah.
you think he
Does
should
that
not work? I
man
mean,
deserve?
I don't know if he's.
Not
I mean,
Do we know? Is he
I
a drug
think-
addict? Does he have psychiatric problems? Does anybody check to see what this guy's
Yeah.
disposition is and why our prison system may have failed him, or whether he did succeed? Was he
Yeah,
given any?
No, that's a good point.
I would
but
not
also
prima
think of the
facie
labor
say
aspect.
that person should not ever be allowed to work anywhere.
Yes, you're right, Jeff. I mean, but the thing is that the of this conversation was that the sanitary quality of the McDonald's in the 50s or 60s, I believe, was higher than now because of the labor that the places like McDonald's have to rely on. Convicts, undocumented workers, people who are going to settle for the lowest wage.
Just the.
Well, if anything,
technology, dude.
if McDonald's are not as nice and pleasant as they were in the 50s, I would suggest probably the minimum wage has more to do with that than anything else, because it makes it harder to hire people to do the kinds of jobs that it takes to keep a place clean.
Jeff, how much would a Big Mac cost if it was adjusted for
I have no idea.
wage? Probably about $10.
$22.95.
Well, they
Probably $22.95, right? For a
you
big, what fries at that?
35 bucks an hour, dude.
I don't know. Everything at McDonald's was less than $1 when I was a kid. So
True. Okay. Well, okay. Welcome to the show, Tommy. What do you think about the quality of American, made in USA produce? I mean, is this good as it's ever been, or
excellent? United States, all 50 of them, including territories, that kind of thing.
Or are you going to give up on Oregon and start buying from Nicaragua?
Except for Alaska.
Excellent, excellent.
You
A
buy a
plus.
lot of oranges in Alaska.
I endorse all American goods, from the least to the greatest, every one of them. Yeah.
Okay, Jeff said that we just ought to let the free market, if the stuff's better from Nicaragua, get it from Nicaragua rather than Oregon. What
Or
say
get it
you?
from where you want to, but you shouldn't be legally barred from getting it.
I like Jeff's positive vision concerning business and economics. It might not be perfect. I don't know if his vision is perfect or not, but I like his positive vision. Yes.
I like it as well. I would like to see people more educated, though, just in case Nicaragua was doing something that we didn't find particularly a positive or good vision, that we had enough information to choose whether or not we want to purchase that product.
Yeah, absolutely.
Negative.
We don't buy stuff from Nicaragua. We buy stuff from people in Nicaragua, as I think was your original point,
Absolutely.
Sugar, which I agree with you. We don't buy. Countries do not trade. They don't really literally buy and sell from each other. It's actually individuals who trade. And whether or not, to me, it's never mattered. If somebody has something of value to offer to me, and I have something they want, why should they care where I was born? Why should I care where they were born? Yeah.
And that's really good. Unfortunately, if just you and I know that, it's not. It doesn't help. It's the mindset of humanity that really will make the difference. Because when we can all feel like we're
trying
all
to inform
important.
more people one hangout at a time.
Me too.
How about the mindset of the Americans who know that we've given up our manufacturing base to China, and now we're going to go ahead and give up our food industry to like Nicaragua, Panama?
We better get on it then. We better find something that we do good. Otherwise, we're going to
We do service. We do financials.
Well, we make weapons and we bomb people.
Weapons.
Oh, that's beautiful.
One of the things I think we have to look at is, the U.S. used to make everything for the world. You look as recently as the 50s and even the 60s, and so why did that change so suddenly? And I would argue that it's because the U.S. has priced itself out of the global market through any number of things. Minimum wage is just one thing. Well, corporatism. Corporate favoritism and being in cahoots with the state and having protections against foreign trade have actually made U.S. firms less competitive. A lot of the mandates that were supposed to help employees, where now it's really hard to fire somebody. It's a legal minefield. It makes it really hard to employ people in the U.S. It's much easier to employ people overseas. They just don't have this big price tag on their head, and we can wax poetic all day long about how wonderful it is that the workers get this and that and the other, but if the workers are unemployed, they don't get any of it, and that's what the dilemma we're faced with here. We're pricing.
Okay, well, how about this?
Let's not forget 2014, $2.1 trillion went off shores and was not taxed. That's money out of our pockets. Where's my money, America?
Well, I was thinking more
I would call that a silver lining.
Okay, listen, we elect politicians that are more than happy to sell to people, the soldiers in Afghanistan. I mean, don't they sell don't they the military buy cases of Coke for like $100 each? I mean, there's like a sort of war profiteering that
air conditioning costs like almost $1 million a day. Like
right.
The U.S. to be in Afghanistan and doing God knows what.
Who knows what? I mean, there's this sort of underground.
God knows what.
No, Eisenhower warned us in 1961 about the military-industrial complex. He called it the military-industrial.
They built a gas station over there last year. Remember, for like $50 million, a gas station.
Yeah, it's just a money suck. It's welfare for billionaires. It's horrific, and
we let it happen though.
There's so much of that to dismantle.
Now, Sugar says we let it happen, but the thing is that the American populace is greatly against that war, yet it still continues.
Yeah. Well, because we still continue to buy
no
product.
voice. Yeah.
No. That's not true. That is not true. We do have a voice. We choose not to use our voice in any kind of way other than singularly and very ineffectively. We all have a voice. We have more of a voice than we even know. that we
I
have.
stand guilty.
You have a voice, but unfortunately, the elected officials are going to listen to the lobbyist that's actually directly handing them money and influence before they're
You're
going to
missing the
listen
point.
to you.
We have a voice. We are not using it properly. We have dollars. We're giving them away. I mean, we won't suffer not one day to get our point across.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, we there are a lot more of us than there are of them. And
I didn't do it.
if we were to withhold even
Tax patriotism.
yeah, if we were to withhold the funding that it takes to fund these things, yeah, they would shrivel up in no time.
Like if everybody had to go to prison on the same day, they'd finally cave in and stop that war, right?
You know, somebody
Yeah, they
said
couldn't
that.
handle it.
You know that group Anonymous was trying to go up to the Federal Reserve and dump every single American dollar at the footsteps and burn it and say, we don't want your money anymore, and we're going to create our own new money system.
And that's good, but I think that's a little extreme. I think about a situation where people were complaining about Fox News and they didn't like Fox and this and that, and I'm just picking on Fox. They're all this way, I believe. Had we as a society said, you know what, there's 3 products that I use that are advertised on that channel. I'm on the computer every day. I can write a letter. I mean, I can have a form letter ready, and I can send it, and I can say, I'm not using your product anymore because of the X, Y, and Z, and I won't be using it. And let all of our friends know that. We're all on Facebook. You do that every day because your mail can do that now. You can have it sent out every single day. 1 person, 10 people doing it, nah, no big deal. How many people are in America? How many people own computers?
Okay, there's like activism that you'd like to tap into, right, Sugar?
Yeah, that's why I came here in the beginning.
It's sort of like, you know, we have an obesity epidemic in America. We have an apathy epidemic, right, in America. We just don't want to do nothing.
Well,
I'm not apathetic. I'm too busy.
Yeah,
I'm too busy learning.
And that's what I was going to say.
Guys.
Yeah,
too busy working to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're also paying taxes on a gigantic house that you didn't need that much because you sent your mom to an old folks home and your sister and your brother who are struggling. I mean, you got a house that's enough for 2 Cambodian families and you're living in there with 3 of you, right? You had to have that big SUV because it has more gas. And the Johnsons got a boat, and I'll be damned, you know. And every woman needs 57 pairs of shoes.
At least.
Come on.
Well, that's called that's Thorsten Veblen's conspicuous consumption, honey. That you have to spend money to.
Well, you only live once, you know.
That's fine, and I get it. I'm not suggesting that we go back to the Stone Age.
Well, part of that is.
Why don't we give communism a chance, Jeff?
Part of that is an effect and not a cause. So yeah, if you have one of the things that fuels consumerism is when you have a fiat currency that's going to go down in value. People have the sense, and justifiably so, that their money isn't going to buy as much tomorrow as it will today. So that fuels consumerism. If you want to have less of that and more savings and more virtue, you don't penalize savings. Now, if you have a savings account, hold on, I'm sorry. If you have a savings account now, what do you get? 1% interest or even less?
Who cares?
Well, who cares?
Well, that's the thing.
But you were decrying consumerism, so I would assume if you care about that, you care about the cause, and that's what.
That's not the cause. You got to go back even farther. The cause is that we don't value living. We don't value our lives. We don't value anybody else's experience.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Hey, now that's a hell of a collective statement to make.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. You prove that I'm wrong.
The economic incentives are.
In your eyes, I'm guilty. Okay.
We're all guilty. I share that with you.
That's right, including me. In your eyes, I am guilty.
I would assume that there are people out there. I would assume that there are people out there. The social narrative is what kind of directs a lot of us. There are people that, like I said, who don't vote because they've been told their vote doesn't count. They've never proven it for themselves. I mean, at some point,
that's true. Do you know what your chances are of influencing the outcome of an election? I mean, it's really infinitesimal.
So then, why don't we change the system?
Listen, you know what country has a good system?
We're screwed.
I think Israel has a good system. They have a theocracy over there that keeps that country more or less, you know, running, right, Sid?
I like our freedom, but I think there's so
Each
many
of
ways
you
to do
have
it.
positively influenced me. So
100%
don't despair.
wrong.
Don't despair.
You know, Israel patterned itself on the Iranian model.
Yeah, well, what happens is with Israel, the Pope is the one who chooses the Prime Minister and President. You see,
Mm.
and everybody's just a lackey from the Vatican.
Okay, listen, you
It
guys
is
are always
really
constantly
not
fighting with
really.
the Palestinians. How the hell does that help your economy? Helps the gun
Well,
Uzi people.
well, with Palestinians, we don't need cars because we just settle up a Palestinian and right away. Woo, clop, 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 clop.
Sid.
Mm.
Okay, look, Sid. Okay,
Not
would not
that.
the status of living, quality of living, get better in Israel if they had a peace settlement with the Palestinians? Went to the
The
two
standard of
states
living
of
in Israel is the highest in
the Middle East.
no, not in the Middle East, in one of the highest in the Western world.
Wow. You're basing that on their security or just on their?
How much is my
It's
apartment?
quality of life, economy, freedom of movement, freedom of speech.
Faster checkpoints.
I have a really smart friend
There's
who
only
lives who
checkpoints,
lives in
but
Israel right now. He's on one of our Google Plus. If you'd like me to have him come in, he lives in Israel. He's
Well,
on here.
thanks for the invite, but you know we are running at the 2 hour limit. I'm about to end it. So, okay, any last statements anybody want to say about dieting? Is it effective?
It's stupid.
Work
Dieting
out,
is
I'd say that
lazy slobs. Freaking work out.
Be thankful
No,
for every
no.
bite. Every bite.
Eat only
Be-
what grows and don't eat anything manufactured.
I'll say this the last word. Try to eat as raw as possible, folks.
Exactly.
Soylent Green. Stay away from it.
They changed the formula. Okay, I love you all. Have a good week, and thanks for coming to the show. Have a good night.